Alright, I'm going to start right off with this. This is the head of a dragon. This is in Morocco. This is his nose, or it's a female dragon. I can explain why I can say that. That's the nose. They have all that funny bump on the nose. This is the fluty stuff that runs down. This is the dragon's neck. And this is stuff that the dragon spit out at another creature to kill it. And they both were killed. Now, this is the dragon's neck. And this is the affluent running off from the dead, decomposing body. Any coroner can easily explain that to you. Now, this is the dragon's scaled throat, shown many, many, many times. It runs for hundreds of miles. This is the fluty stuff that runs down the side of dragons. They look very attractive with that. That's the scales that run all down and through his or her body, and all the way down to the Mediterranean Sea. This is the size, these are the legs, this body is here, and that is the tail, and I will explain why I can make that statement because of the continued dragon scales and decayed effluent, very similar, literally exact, to the other end, and it continues on until it hits a very flary spot at the end, which dragons of the female nature have, and that is the fluty stuff at the end. So I am going to make the determination that this is a female dragon. Now, this is what it issued from wherever they spit the dragon stuff from, and it is literally identical to snake venom in certain types of snakes. Extremely volatile, nasty looking stuff. You see this? That came down and killed or severely wounded the fish that is directly below this giant dragon's head. And here is where it combusted, and below that is the fish right here, which is quite apparent, and that's his tail, and I believe that's the eye. These are the scales, you can see them. The water would come this way. That's the fin up at the top. Now, that fin was attacked by that stuff, whatever that dragon stuff is, and it ate into the flesh of this fish. Now, I am going to show you something else, and then listen to this. This is the clincher here. You see this spot right there? That is Atlantis. I have done extensive research on that. That is Atlantis. Now, that is where the Sahara Ocean drained, and that's why the fish is dead. Now, what happened over here? A straits over here apparently was breached. I have read somewhere, and I cannot put my source on it, but it was somewhere that the straits was breached and Atlantis was flooded and the Sahara Ocean drained, which is quite obvious, over this area here. And that happened at the same time the fish and the dragon were together, because it's run over the top of this fish in a spot here. So I'm going to say that this all happened at the same time, and I'm going to say that this dragon and this fish had this fight because the dragon destroyed Atlantis and drained the ocean, and the fish attacked the dragon. That's all I can come up with. And I'll show you why I can say that. My good friend Carl Smith sent me this. He sends me stuff a lot, and it's very good stuff. And he was talking about the pregnant dragon. Well, in addition to that, listen to this. Listen to this. This is the clincher. The god of the sea, in the shape of a dragon, had two magical gems, the ebb stone, Kanju, and the tide stone, Manju, with which he controlled the tide. That's in the ocean, in the tides, ebbs and flow. Later, he presented them to his son, the demigod, which he's half god and half human, apparently, Horino Makoto. A legend says, now listen very, very carefully, a legend says that later Empress Jingu, and that apparently is in the year 201 to 269. AD, that's what I'm taking, 201 to 269, was in the possession of the two gems. And she was not able to control the tide. She crossed the sea, had her enemies drowned, like Atlantis, and then went and conquered Korea. Historians assumed that already back then elements of this were adopted, a wish-fulfilling jewel equivalent to the Philosopher's Stone. That is a male dragon with the tail like that, and that's a female dragon with the fluty-looking tail. And one of them is shooting something out and picking something up. I don't know what that refers to. But I do know that that's what they say. Female dragon has the fluty tail. That's what we saw over in Morocco. And all the people who were on Atlantis drowned. I mean, that's pretty obvious. They were all around the world, however, though. They colonized all over places like South America and up in Celtic and all over the place. They dominated everybody. They were the pharaohs. They went out. They were the long-headed people. And apparently she wanted to kill them. That's all I can say. And then if the fish came over, now I don't know how this says she went and conquered Korea. I don't know how the fish ended up with another dragon dead in the desert, but to me, it all happened at once, and I'm going to show you another picture that really is kind of shocking. Now look at this. This is a shocker to me. That looks to me like Atlantis. They say it's a jewel in her claw. We know that her, a she-dragon, went across the ocean, attacked and killed all and drowned her people. That's what it says. Now, I don't know how the fish got involved or the fish got upset, or I don't know. That's not part of that particular legend, but all I can see is what I can see. You see what I see, and I don't know. That's all I can tell you. But it's very, very amazing. They knew all this stuff. This only back goes to 269 AD, and that dragon in the desert there has not been there that long. That I can guarantee you. That is in way, way, way within living, or not living history, but within human history, 100%, no question whatsoever. Okay, once again, Carl Smith, all due respect to his, okay, let's wrap it up. Again, credit to Carl Smith. I would have never known these things without his help. And I get help from everybody, and I try to spread it around, and we try to help each other, that's all. Now, what I'm seeing here is a dragon holding Atlantis. That's what I'm seeing. Now, you could see something else. Now, I know that the dragon and the fish fought. Well, the fish lived in that lake or that ocean. If this guy came over, or she came over, and this is a female, her claw, she came over and crushed Atlantis, well, I could see the fish getting upset, and the fish happened to be in between her and Atlantis. Now, does that mean anything? I don't know. Does this mean anything? I don't know. But I see what I see, and you cannot unsee what I see. If you unsee that with your eyes, then I would not want your eyes. This is what it is, and it's time to look back at the histories that were written, because they've all been, see, we got to start over from everything. I'm serious now. Nothing, literally nothing, can be assumed anymore, because we've never started from understanding the earth is what it is. It's not some dead dust accumulated, it's creatures. This was all written about. So this is not silly stuff. This is something you've got to start all over again. And the second thing was in the Bible, Genesis 6.4 talks about there was giants in the earth in those days. And that is a fact. They were in the earth. They were the earth. And then after that, there was a new set of giants when the angels went into the daughters of man. That was also written about, and that I also have information about, and I also have DNA tested specimens of that statement. So, we got a lot of work to do here, but we got to start from the beginning. The earth was constructed of creatures. The Bible obviously has the statement about the flood, and that's the only reason for these mud fossils. Now, what I need to find out is the layering of the earth. The KT boundary was supposed to be when that impact in Chicxulub happened, which was, I'm claiming that is not a fact. I want to know The iridium layer is a clay layer, and it contains iridium, and that is why they say we got hit by an asteroid and it created this iridium layer. Well, it's not iridium layer, it's clay. It's gray clay, which is all the different colors of kaolin clay, which is skin. Now, that which would erode in the waters of a flood. Now, there is iridium in there, and there is iridium in you and me and every creature that walks the planet, because they ingest iridium, which they use that as a transition metal to function within the body. It's nothing special. It didn't come from space. It washed out of the bodies of creatures as they dissolved their skin layers in the flood. And then the waterlogged remains of these gigantic creatures were left on the face of the earth, and as the waters receded, and it talks about how it happened, the earth cracked open and sucked all the waters back in. It's what it says. And we know that there is enormous quantities of water in the earth. That now has been proven. The Russians did the Kola deep earth borehole. Look it up. They found it inside, deep in the earth, saturated with water. So the water's down there. So anyway, this is all something that's got to start over. We got to start over, because nothing was understood now. Not a word that you have been taught is understood with this particular starting point. Just got to start over. Go to Mud Fossil University and start there, because you're not going to learn it in academia for a long, long time. They are not going to sign on to this they're going to reject, well, they rejected it for 6 years now, and they're going to push back as hard as they can and make this into, try to make me look silly and the rest of the information and everybody else. They have already done this, but now they can't contest this any longer. The evidence is too strong. So, but you're not going to learn it from them, because they will not get up to speed for years and years. So come to Mud Fossil University. It's the only credible place to learn anything anymore. And it's free. You just shuffle around, find out what's real. But then go confront people about it. Say, you're not even in the real universe anymore. You haven't been to Mud Fossil University. You're walking off in the fantasy land. You're not even in the real universe. So you're going to have a hard time dealing with these people, and all the statements that come from TV and your teachers and professors, they're all going to be nonsense once you understand reality. So get up there, understand it, then confront people. We've got to change the world. That's just a fact. It's just way, way, way wrong. All right, Mud Fossil University, YouTube. Okay, just put in mudfossils.com, all one word obviously, and you'll arrive at a Mud Fossil University. And if you scroll down here a little bit, you're going to find out that's the DNA reports. There's 3 different mud fossils tested in there. 2 of them were giants, 1 of them was normal size. And they were all found in the same hole. They were all found in the same hole. All right, so remember that. That's very important. Now, this is YouTube. That's Facebook. All right, so come up and start to get educated, because you're not going to get educated in the university system in any country in the world right now. You're just wasting your money, wasting your time. You might get some skill. That's good. Like become a librarian or an accountant or something like that. That's fine. Chemistry's good too. Chemistry's pretty good. That's what I do, is chemistry, and I understand that seems to work pretty good, because you can do something and get a conclusive result. The theoretical academics are base their theories on nonsense, literally nonsense. A big bang of nothing, and it all congealed and sort of globbed together and turned into all this. That's not credible whatsoever. It's the weakest minded theory that I've ever heard. It means, well, it's just here and it happened. No clue whatsoever. And now that they found out, let me just show you something. You see this? Now they found out this. Phys.org, this just came out. Giant gene study came up with this facts about evolution. The study's most startling results is that 9 out of 10 species on Earth, including humans, came into being 100 to 200,000 years ago. It all happened at the same time, only 100,000 years ago, 200,000 years ago. That's what they say. I dispute that date. I think it was less than that, but let's even go with that. That's not evolution from 4 billion years ago. This is insanity, what we're being taught. And slime turning into everything we are. That's just total nonsense. All these species were created at the same time. So you figure out the math on that, my friend. Let's get a little more to reality and look a little more to God. All right? That's my advice.